What's going on, everybody? My name is Rome Bailey. Welcome back to the roofing channel. And today I'm going to hit on a fun one. So let's do a full roof breakdown. So I'm going to be going over every component. Don't worry, I'm going to do it pretty quick. I'm not going to go in detail as far as different lines and products as far as each component goes. What I am going to touch on is each of the main components of the roof, where they're going to be installed, and then when they're going to be installed. So let's kick it right off. So what we're going to do is tear it down to the bare decking first. This way we can expose if there's anything that's soft or rotten. That's going to be your first layer. This is usually going to be existing if you're doing a roof replacement, but if it is new construction, it is your first layer as far as building a roof. Once the decking is in great shape, we're going to move on to the leak barrier. Leak barrier or ice and water, or you can technically use another kind of valley liner like metal. It's going to go in your valleys, you guessed it. So that's going to go where your slopes meet at an inward angle. Also typically going to go on what we call a sidewall. So anywhere where your slopes meet a wall where you would need flashing, that's going to go down first. Next layer, just like I said, is going to tie right into flashing. So there's two kinds of flashing. Step flashing is one I'm going to be talking about now because that's going to be your next layer of protection. Once that's installed, now we're going to go into felt. Felt's going to cover the whole surface area of the roof. This comes in typically 4-foot tall rolls, about 10 squares a roll. It's going to cover the whole surface area, and that's a really important layer. It's going to keep you watertight for the most part if your shingles were to ever blow off. Moving along is going to be drip edge. Now, the way the drip edge is installed, it can go back and forth with the felt. If it's on the eave where we install our gutters, that drip edge is going to go down first. Felt's going to go on top of it for water shedding. Now, if it's on the rake, on the other edge that you would see around the perimeter roof, you're going to have your felt go down first, and then your drip edge is going to go on top. Once that's installed, then you're going to go with your starter strip shingles. Starter strip shingles are the first layer of shingles that's going to go around the perimeter roof. Super critical. Make sure you're using the proper starter strip to make sure you have proper adhesion right there at the edge of the roof. Next is going to be your field shingles. Whether you have your Atlas, your Owens Corning, your IKO, whatever you choose is up to you, but that's where you're going to go next is what we call our field shingles. So when people talk about shingles, this is what most people are generally talking about. Very, very important, but it's just one component of a full roofing system. Once your shingles are all installed, next we're going to go to ventilation. So whatever kind of ventilation you have, whether it be the ridge vent, turbines, box vents, regardless, we're going to want to put those at the very, very tippy top of the roof as high as we can go without interfering with any other components. That's where you're going to have the most heat escape from the roof. Once that's done, now we're going to wrap it up with something called a hip and ridge shingle. Hip and ridge shingles are, you guessed it, going to be installed on your hips where your slopes meet at an outward angle and then also on your ridges. So if you don't have ridge vent, this is just going to finish up the roof. If you do have ridge vent, this is going to go on top of the ridge vent to finish up the roof. And then lastly, so I'm going to double back, is going to be the counter flashing. The counter flashing is going to encase and go over your step flashing if it's on an exposed surface like a brick or a stucco. And then lastly, though it's not a true component of the roof, is going to be your sealant. This is super critical to make sure you're using a high quality sealant. You're going to cover up any exposed nails on any of the flashings, on any of the masonry nails that you use to attach the counter flashing. Any of your components where exposed nails are also visible. So there you have it, total roof breakdown, each component. Thanks for watching, guys.